Alrighty. I I'm back. The Sorry, I do this every day, so I don't know if I'm back makes much sense. It was a long day today, lots of fun, all the stuff. Had a birthday party I went to, so that was great. But I have progressed on the animation stuff, which is awesome. And that piece aside, I have I ran across an idea that I wanted to talk about, and that was a fun way to break down introverts and extroverts. But I'm actually going to shelve that for another video. And this video, I was going to address a problem that I faced several times in different areas of my life, and that one is imposter syndrome. The reason why I'm trying to address it right now is because if it's a problem when I'm sitting here at 4 subscribers and 2 views a video, then if I ever break out of that, then there's going to be a bit of a problem that I face. If I can't handle it now, how the heck am I going to handle it when I have way more things to deal with? So I figure that, now's as good a time as any to actually address that problem. So we will have the introvert extrovert cube another video. Now, to get some terms down, imposter syndrome is the is see if I can chalk this up from my understanding. It's when you feel as if you have somehow tricked the people around you into believing that you are more competent in your subject than you are. So, for example, it's, oh, I'm tricking these people to watch my videos. I don't actually deserve these views. Uh, Things like that, right? Now, to address this, I have had this problem for a good chunk of my life, probably half of it, if not more. So I wanted to break down, and I figured since I'm doing this already, I might as well do it on recording to break down and understand why I have this, probably. And if I can understand why I have it, then I can address the problem of it and see if the problem of it is actually worth addressing or not. Also, this week is probably just going to be a lot of different ramblings because most of the update of the animation is going to be shown on video. uh, and I don't think that the animation part of it is actually going to be super difficult. But, we'll get there when we get there. So, ramblings week. Delightful. Anyway, to the imposter syndrome. I believe the reason that I have it is the people around me tend to hype me up more than I see myself deserving getting hyped up. So, for example, one of the comments on one of the YouTube videos that I got at some point was, "You sound very smart." Now, most of the time, I don't feel like I'm the smartest person in the room. So, my understanding of my intelligence is actually lower than what it probably is. And I can acknowledge that it's probably lower than it probably is based off of 2 different reasons. One is I surround myself with smart people because, I enjoy the company of smart people. And the other one is that people tend to be very bad at judging how accurate they actually are. Now, because of these things, it's understandable to be like, okay, so I'm probably intelligent. I don't think I'm as intelligent as the people around me say I am, but I probably am not like ridiculously dumb. Now, the problem with this is that if I was ridiculously dumb, I could just say, "Oh, they're just being nice to me." Right? And then I wouldn't have the problem of the imposter syndrome. But because it feels like they're hyping me up over my capacity for what I can do while still being within the range of something I think I could trick someone into believing me being, it causes the problem, right? So if someone's like, "Hey, let's see, you have like muscles of steel and you're going through and you could totally lift a car by your bare hands one-handed while doing a push-up." It's like, well, obviously they're hyping me up, right? But if someone's like, "Hey, I bet you could do like 30 push-ups." It's like, yeah, yeah, 30 push-ups. Yeah, yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, uh-huh. And so there's the idea of like, hey, that's within the realm of possibility, but I don't think I could actually do that. Now, I could probably easily do 30 push-ups, but that was just an example. But the idea is I feel as if I trick people into being better than what I actually am. Okay, so what's the problem here? The problem is that it then makes it so that I don't feel like I'm in the right space. Okay, let's break that down a little bit more. Why don't you feel that you're in the right space? It feels like people are putting me on a pedestal that I don't deserve to be on. Okay, so you feel that there's a pedestal that you're being put on and you don't deserve to be on that pedestal. Okay, so what's the problem with that? So there's one problem with it here, which is it feels somewhat dishonest, and I don't like to be dishonest, right? I don't think it's something I strive to avoid. Okay, so there's some clashing there, but you're not entirely sure if you're being dishonest or not, but you just feel as if there's some dishonesty that could be put in some places. Yes, so it doesn't quite feel like I'm straight up deceiving people, but it feels like their perception of me has been overhyped. Okay, great. So it's not a direct dishonesty, it's more like a secondhand dishonesty. Okay. Um the second problem is it feels as if someone is going to give me more than what I can handle. Okay, so what's the problem with being given more than what you can handle? That I can't handle the thing that I've been given. Okay, so if you can't handle the thing that you've been given, then it breaks you out of the alien syndrome piece. Because then people will understand the actual ability of what you're able to do and not the perceived ability. So what's the problem there? Is it that there's failure? No, because I've dealt with a lot of failure. Is it? I I I think that the reason that exists is because I'm terrified that the thing that I don't think I can do is actually within my capacity, and I'm not able to reach it via not thinking that I can actually achieve that, so then I don't go all in for it. Okay, so there's a fear of untapped potential, and that's what's actually getting at you, where you feel like they're opening the door for the ability for there to be untapped potential that you don't access, and the not accessing of that untapped potential scares you, and not necessarily the overhyping of your capabilities. Hmm. I see. So, so then the fear wouldn't actually be an alien syndrome problem. It would be a when someone puts you on a pedestal, you're scared that you can actually reach the stuff that they're putting you on, and you just haven't been able to reach that because you haven't tried hard enough to get there. And so that means that you're not achieving all that you could achieve. Okay. Hmm. Okay. So if that is what you're scared of, the not achieving the thing that people say that you can achieve, not because it's not you're not capable of doing it, but just because you didn't try hard enough, then are you scared of people putting you on a pedestal, or are you scared of people pointing out what you could do and you not actually achieving it? Now, I think that what's going on is those two aren't necessarily separate from each other. I think the putting on a pedestal, hold on, excuse me. I think the putting on a pedestal does both of those things where it is both a thing that could be pointing to something that is completely out of my reach, or at the same time it could be something that could totally be within the realm of possibility, but I just haven't tried hard enough to get there. So when someone goes through, I think this explains a good chunk for why I deflect compliments a lot. It's it's if the compliment wasn't actually a legitimate compliment, then I no longer have to worry about that being a possibility of thing that I could actually measure up to try to achieve. Okay. Okay. It's starting to break down now. So, what is the thing that you're scared of? Cuz it's not necessarily that you're scared that you've tricked everyone into believing that you're better than what you are. It's that you've tricked yourself into believing that I think that I've tricked myself into believing that I can't achieve the things that I could actually achieve. And so it reduces the amount of potential I can actually access. It leaves a lot of untapped potential. And so is it more scary to you to have a lot of untapped potential that you fooled yourself out of actually getting, or having a lot of unearned praise about potential that doesn't actually exist? And I think I would have to go with the first one. I think it's way more terrifying to have a whole realm of untapped potential that exists beyond the reach of what you're capable of because you've talked yourself out of actually opening the door to just get there. Yeah, that's way more scary. The only reason you didn't achieve the things that you were going for was because you talked yourself out of it at the last second. Hmm. Yeah, that's way more scary. I think that makes more sense for the imposter syndrome. I might have called it alien syndrome at some point because I mixed the two. I mix alien hand syndrome and imposter syndrome in my head for the names. Alien hand syndrome is basically where your hand moves without you thinking that it, like, making it move. So it basically just moves by itself. You have a disassociation from your hand. and imposter syndrome we've already gone over. So, apologies if I've made that mess up. So there's a thing that you're scared of, which is getting shown untapped potential that you talk yourself out of getting. So, what is the solution to that? And one solution to that might be you just accept all compliments at face value and proceed as if it were true. I don't think that's necessarily the best solution. Let's see if we can work out another one. What if you curate the compliments to see what feels as if it fits and what doesn't feel as if it fits? Well, the problem with that is we hit the same problem that we've run into because you're a bad judge for yourself. Okay. So, how about you shift it so that the more you get of a specific type of compliment from multiple types of people, the more likely that is to be true. Okay, that's closer. That's closer. So when you get a lot of the same type of compliment from a ton of people, like, hey, I like your hair, then you probably have a good hairstyle. Okay, okay. Now, I still don't fully agree with this. I think there's a slightly better step we could take. So, I think that if we merge this idea, where it's the more you get from multiple people, and you mix it with the idea of what kind of compliments would you want to achieve to be the best person you could possibly be. And if you mix those two, where you aim for the compliments that make you the best person you could be, your most ideal self, which is probably going to change as you continue onward, which is fine, and you use the compliments that you're receiving with the compliment sorting system we just came up with as a guidepost on how close you are to actually getting there, I think that works. Okay. That makes me feel a lot better about the problem that I was facing. Awesome. Well, the inner machinations of my brain are just something for me to slowly mine out for YouTube content when I can't figure out what to talk about. Oh man. Someone's gonna listen to this and be like, "Hey, I enjoyed the thing." And be like, "Whoa, I did the thing. Let's go." Okay. Uh yeah, I think that takes a weight off my chest on the problem that I was facing, and there's probably going to be more of that this week, because when I tend to do this large drawing thing, I got sand on my notebook. When I tend to do a large drawing thing, I tend to get lost in thought as I scribble on the well, in this case it's not paper, it's the ones and zeros. So as the ones slip to ones and zeros, I think it's zeros slip to ones and ones slip to zeros. Anyway, as the number on thing change while I scribble and the lights change as a representation of that, then I tend to get lost in thought. So there's probably going to be a bit more of this week. The next one, I might actually do for the introvert extrovert cube, I might start doing some sort of what's the word for it? Animation piece for it. I might actually video edit for that one. But who knows? I could do a whole recording of it. Anyway, my brain's getting lost in thought again, so I'm going to cut it off here before we get another 30-minute video. This one's just 20 minutes, I did a whole 10 minutes better in condensing the thoughts. yeah, have a great day. So.